Hello, YouTube. This is the Galley La Podcast, and today we are going to be reviewing One Piece Manga Chapter 1143, The God's Knights. I am Akainu Fanboy. The other guy is Geboss. Please like and subscribe if you have not. Leave your comments below to give your thoughts on the chapter and thoughts on our review. So, we have this cool color spread right here, which is awesome because it's cool, and two, it's an interruption of the Yamato cover story that we've been plagued with for a while now.
Yeah, but more interruptions means the longer it is.
Well,
time.
we get a breather, and it looks like Jinbei is swimming while everybody else is flying, which is kind of messed up.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice.
And poor Jinbei. Yeah, and then Chopper is bumming off his Zoro, but what else is new? So, but yeah, so it was kind of interesting to see the scaling in One Piece as usual, where you see some of these creatures and they don't look as big as they did in that previous chapter.
Yeah, but if you look at them, I mean, you see Saul in the foreground, and you see like this little ghost thing, and then the cloud in the background, which is because they're in the background. They're bigger than they would be in the foreground because they're already bigger than Saul.
That's true. Yeah.
So they're pretty big. Plus, you have to take into consideration that they're literal giants.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I mean, they still have a good size. Yeah, maybe it's just the panels throwing me off a little bit, but as we see Saul trying to rescue these kids right here, it doesn't turn out well, and obviously it's gonna. I mean, so would you say it's a combination of abilities, or do you think this is just one double for the users right here, where one for the sleep and then the other for the kind of the guiding and the protection right here, or do you think it's all one ability?
Well, no, we see later on in the chapter they're kind of showing off their abilities. So Saint Summers has the Thorn fruit that encases them in that, and then Killingham has the dragon fruit, the model killing, or Kirin, or whatever, however they're going to translate it. So it's a combination of the two, because his Killingham's has to do with sleep and making dreams and everything. So
yeah,
it's like a combination of all theirs.
Right, and which is proving to be effective, and it seems more covert rather than like island busting in terms of power tiers and things like that. But it's proving to be effective for this section right here as well.
Yeah,
and so they're heading towards the 8th branch right now, but now Nami has been given word, and obviously we know how Nami feels about defending children, and so we're gonna probably see her coming in pretty soon to help out.
But and everyone's drunk.
Yes. So she's gonna have to get everybody back on track. Yeah, because we saw Usopp previously drunk. We see Brook. Bro, I don't know how drunk Brook truly is. He might just be trolling because he doesn't have a body to consume the alcohol with. So,
maybe it's like with he gets the calcium from milk, it regrows his bones. Maybe the alcohol absorbs directly into the bones.
Maybe it hits him harder. And we see Brook's cousin right here as one of the nightmares too, getting out of the forest and hitting the fire brigade squad. So I mean, but you're right. Yeah. So I know. So this skeleton creature is actually pretty huge right here to like make to knock out the fire brigade and things like that too. So yeah, he does look massive.
Yeah. I also just like the design that Oda's using for these nightmare creatures, like the I guess the shading that he's using for them looks completely different from anything that we usually see in One Piece.
Yeah, and we get to see a couple of them present around the God's Knights too, kind of still just in proximity to them. Which I kind of find interesting. They're not sending them all in at once, but they still have a couple near them. So definitely a little bit of overconfidence right now because they're having a meal. They don't feel like this is like a big rush in a way. Yeah.
So let me see. I don't know why, But so relating back to like sleeping and the thorns and everything, I'm getting, I know this doesn't relate to like the general Norse mythology thing that Elbaf's been going for, but I feel that I'm getting like Sleeping Beauty vibes from this. You know what I mean? Because Sleeping Beauty had all the thorns surrounding the castle and everything. Like it was supposed to be impenetrable, and they're leading them with sleeping and everything.
Yeah.
That's just kind of the vibe that I was getting.
That's a very good point, actually. Yeah. So we don't really, at least not yet. We don't have a Maleficent-esque figure in this context, but no, I mean, yeah, that's a good connection right there for sure.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, what do you think of Summers? Because he's like probably the most entertaining of the celestial dragons, like the one with the, like, he's not like obnoxious, like I mean, to an extent he is, but like not like Charlos or anything.
No, and I think they all seem rather confident too, and yeah, I mean, he seems more likable for sure. So I think he's kind of interesting, definitely, and it is kind of funny with saying Quilliam, Quingam, and everything like that.
There's differences in the translations.
Yeah, okay. Actually, I guess this could be our dragon.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah,
Dragon finally made it to Elbaf.
Well, no. As
yeah.
like the Maleficent-esque character, like the mythical dragon fruit a little bit, so that could be the dreams and everything like that too. So I think that's kind of an interesting possibility right there too. Yeah, so it's interesting. I mean, so I guess he is a human though at the end of the day, because I was kind of thinking like having a celestial dragon be a different species, but obviously with the zone fruit. But I guess he just prefers to be in that form and everything.
Yeah, maybe he has to be in it to use his powers. But we do see like I think he's the most celestial dragon out of all of them, because he still has the bubble on.
Right. And the other ones seem to have more of a personality and seem less, I don't know. I guess they seem more disciplined, well trained for like a greater goal in a way, while the celestial dragons just consume what's in front of them.
Yeah, they seem more like kind of like CP9. Like
yeah.
Would you have preferred this to have been like CP0?
Yeah.
Instead of this whole new God's Knights thing.
Yeah, I think that would have been cooler. I think sometimes I kind of feel like they're a little superfluous in a way, like Shamrock could have just easily been a Cyberpool Zero agent,
Yeah, but I mean, I guess relating him directly to the Celestial Dragons and tying Shanks into that, you kind of have to do it that way. I don't think any of the Celestial Dragons would join Cypherpole.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
But they seem redundant, is what I mean.
Yeah,
they're
right.
Roles. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they basically are operating in the same exact way. Cypherpole Zero did have some moments, but they were just kind of, I don't know, gradual and minimalist in a way, with how they progressed the plot. We had Stussy and Whole Cake Island, but again, she didn't really stay long. She ended up betraying them, we saw the role in Wano. Yeah, they helped trigger Gear 5, and they took down Drake and Izo and everything like that. But again, very, very minor stuff in the grand scheme of things. And then also, and then with Egghead, obviously they played a bigger role, but they kind of just got embarrassed and things like that too. So
yeah,
the way they were described in Dressrosa was just this unrelenting force. But Lucci was kind of the strongest one we saw, and Lucci was impressive, but it wasn't something like this character is groundbreaking, like how Shamrock seems to be portrayed as, at least,
Yeah. plus, like, we've only really seen, like, in canon, Cypher pull in that one scene with Vivi, like where Jabra, Khalifa, and the rest of them were reintroduced as Cypher Pull Zero agents, where they failed their job.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah.
But yeah, as I was reading this, I kind of thought of that.
Totally. And when you kind of, so do you want to move on to the Loki section, or is there anything else you want to comment right here?
No, I think that's it for this. Rather than just Gunko saying like, "Oh yeah, Luffy's on Elbaf too." We see I saw his shit.
Right.
So.
Right.
Oh, and the fact that they're literally just sending the kids into a fire.
Yeah.
And it'll be. I want to see how Saul fixes this, because obviously he doesn't want to get them burned.
It's kind of a replay of O'Hara in the sense where you had a disillusioned Marine vice admiral going against the world government again, you know? So I think you kind of have that going on right here as well. So we see Loki, and so basically not too much happened here. You know, we had Loki's wounds and everything like that. Everyone's worried about his power. And all the rest is like kind of transpiring right here. And so we get to see a quick glimpse here, but then he just passes out. So it kind of reminds me of just the Scott Geboss scene where they build up, they hype it up and everything, and then quickly just like move back the momentum a little bit.
Yeah, well, I actually kind of liked it. I like Zoro kind of sensing how weak Loki had gotten. Yeah, because literally Luffy didn't even use any gear attack. It's literally just a big punch.
Yeah.
And that was enough to take him down. So, but I also like how Zoro's kind of keeping him on task, saying like, "Are you gonna let him off this easy?"
Yeah.
Because you said you were gonna take him down if he tried anything. So I did like that. Zoro kind of showing his first mate status. Right.
No, yeah, that's a good moment. It's crazy. It's going to take several months. So I guess Shamrock does have a good amount of power, you know, and all the rest. So it's curious to see how much more power he's going to have. And he's revealed to be this ancient giant and all the rest. So I find that interesting too. And so I guess we're really getting a lot of character exposition with Haruden, which is really cool because he's just kind of more than just a random giant Grand Fleet member, but now he's actually having a big part to do with the story.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because we get the little bit of flashback between him and Loki, and their father. So, I think I had texted you saying that you weren't going to like the ending of this chapter. So, do you want to get into it, or?
So my hope is it doesn't necessarily mean he's a good guy, necessarily. Because, I mean, we'll have to see the official translation and everything. He says, where he says, you're so drunk on all this personal drama, you can't even see the forest for the trees. Don't tell me you're really like the rest, thinking I actually killed our father in cold blood. You don't really buy it, do you? So I guess in one sense, if you were to look at the context, it's like, okay, the tree is real, but you can't see the whole forest in the context. So I think in a way, like, yeah, he did kill his dad, but it wasn't in cold blood. There was something more going on. That's kind of how I read this section, at least.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's how I read it too. But I think in our previous discussions, you didn't want Loki to be this, like, misunderstood character. Or, like, he's actually a good guy type thing, or he did it for noble purposes. Which is what I think that Oda's trying to set up with this, like, oh yeah, I killed him, but I did it because he was gonna do something negative for Elbaf, and that's why he did it, like trying to justify the killing.
Yeah, so I think I do agree that's a possibility that can definitely a high possibility it can go down that way. But I still think there's a possibility where. So my biggest fear was like the God's Knights were the ones that did it, and Loki completely got framed. I think that would have been terrible. So and I think that's still a weak possibility, but it's there. I think that would have been bad. But I think there's a chance where, like, yeah, I killed him for like a right reason, but also I'm selfish and I did it for a selfish reason too, in a way. You know, does that kind of make sense? Like, I mean, there also could be he is a trickster. There could be an element where he says like, "I'm just bullshitting you right now." Like, you know, I'm still messed up. You know, at the end of the day, you know.
Yeah, I mean that is a possibility, but I know that you're not a fan of the constant thing where, oh, he did a bad thing, but in actuality, it was a good thing that he did, which
right.
But yeah, I think
I agree.
Yeah, your theory is interesting that it could be for both beneficial and selfish reasons that he did it. Or that he's just making stuff up, because I think Loki needs to be built up as more of a trickster type thing, you know.
Yeah, and Haruden, like, obviously we're starting to see why he hates him so much. Like, we're getting more levels added to this and everything like that, because he was like kind of the most against Loki and things like that too. I don't know. Yeah, it would be more interesting to see, but like, I mean, the closest thing we kind of saw him to getting angry was the animals getting hurt. So you see some degree of camaraderie, but again, like, for him to be distinguished as a character as something unique, I feel like he has to have some malicious, selfish, evil intent to him, even if he's not a full-on bad guy, you know? Or else he's just kind of like a stronger Haruden in a way, you know? Like, and they have the same personality if he just is like actually a good guy, you know, at the end of the day. And I don't know, it's just bad. I just don't want him to go down that path completely, you know. Like, he could just go like next chapter be like, "No, I'm kidding. I did it for the fun of it," you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely something more going on, but I mean, it's just one of the things that Oda falls back on.
Yeah.
Same thing with
because
the fake out deaths and everything.
Right, and I think. Well, so I think there was this assumption right now where everyone's all, oh, well, his trickiness is like he seems dead, but he's really going to be super powerful and start popping off, and the Monster Trio is going to fight him, and that's going to how we see the Loki trickster thing. And that didn't happen. So how is he going to trick the audience? It could just be next chapter with this, you know?
Yeah, well, I don't think the fight's going to happen because he's all chained back up again.
Yeah, well, I mean, sorry, the trickster element's going to be in the sense that, yeah. I mean, because like, how else are we going to see the trickster element at this point? Unless Zoro has more pills to heal him, he's going to be out for a while, you know?
Yeah. Loki's going to come back in the story at some point, be completely freed. So it'll be interesting to see what the catalyst of that is.
Chopper. No. I mean, Chopper's one of the dumbest characters in the show, right? So, like, Loki could easily trick him as a trickster, and then he heals him.
I mean, that's true. But, I mean, Gerd's doing first aid and everything, but I thought you meant, like, literally dumb, but, like, easily fooled. Chopper is, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and maybe I should be more precise for the Chopper stands out there, Jimper. But like, I think like it's But I think that could easily happen. Usopp and Chopper getting fooled by him. But yeah, like I said, we still have to see his devious nature. That hasn't been illustrated yet in the manga so far. So we still have to wait for that. Everybody thought we were going to see it illustrated here by being actually a lot stronger and healed up than he meant out to be. That didn't happen. So now we're just kind of have to wait for that devious part to come out, which is obviously going to play a big part in the story as well. So, but I thought it was a good chapter. We got some good continuation. So a lot of pieces are moving at the same time. The God's Knight, Saul, Chopper, Nami, Drunk, Brook, and all the rest too with Loki. So yeah, any thoughts?
No, not really. No break next week, so we'll see if our or viewer theory comes to fruition. So
we'll see. Yeah. I'm not going to say it's going to be a hard trigger out thing. I do think there's going to be a chance of simultaneous selfish and noble reason, like kind of he just happened to do something that was good for Elbaf in a way, so yeah. So anyways, all right guys, well, have a good one. We'll see you guys next week. Please like and subscribe if you have not. Leave a comment below and we'll see you guys soon. Peace.
See ya.